Yo, what's up, dogs? I am back once again with another movie review, and this time we are going to talk about the Thunderbolts. And before I get started, I just want to tell you guys that I may or may not have a few spoilers when I get rolling. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to give you guys a little heads up that I might spoil a detail or two in here, because once I get yapping, sometimes I just forget. Okay? So I'm giving you a warning right now. And that being said, let's start talking about this movie because I genuinely liked this film, and I am quite surprised that I liked this movie. To be perfectly honest, I like to kind of weigh these films against each other in the MCU. So the last movie we watched was Captain America 4, and that was a hot dumpster fire. And also, I watched Daredevil Born Again, but I don't know if we should really weigh this against TV shows. So let's just keep it movie to movie. Born Again wasn't that bad, by the way. So Thunderbolts is definitely a way better entry into the MCU than I was expecting. It's like a breath of fresh air, and I actually liked it. You know what I'm saying? I liked the characters, I really got into them. Most of the jokes are good, as always, humor is subjective. So I liked certain things that I genuinely laughed at that others didn't, and vice versa. So that's just what your typical MCU movie is like. You're going to get the comedy or not. It's up to you if you like that. But I'm more about the story and the characters, and I actually really liked what they were kind of putting together here. You know what I'm saying? Because you have these ragtag group of characters that are literally losers, bottom of the barrel, Z team tier level characters, right? And like it's all around Yelena and her emotional state, so to speak. And all these characters are going through their own emotional arcs in this film, right? And all of them work for Valentina. And Valentina is actually pretty good in this movie too. Like I'm saying, I actually liked all the characters. Okay, um, and now some of the characters don't get a lot of shine, so to speak, or a lot of screen time. But when they do get screen time, I'm still genuinely invested in them, and I just like the team in general, right? And I liked how they came together. And normally, I like team up movies where we get to focus on each individual character and where they are in life and how they get there, and that's what I like. Okay, I wish we had like 5 minutes with each one of these characters doing something in their world, or even 10 minutes of each one of these characters, right? Doing something in their world that gives me an understanding of where they are at this point in time in their life. But the movie starts off with solely focusing on Yelena and where she is at this point in life, right? And she is downtrodden. She's in a very emotional state. She hates her work life. Like, how could you like your work life, right? You're a trained assassin. That's how like you go and work for Valentina whenever she needs something done, you need to go and kill someone, right? Like that's your job. Like how could you like that? She has no family. Like her sister's gone. She doesn't really have a good relationship with the Red Guardian, or slash her father. Well, adopted father. Where's her mom? She's not even in this movie, right? Or her adoptive mom. Like where are these people, right? And so she's going through a lot of trials and turmoil, and you kind of just feel for her. She's and like her presentation is like she's doing an assassination attempt and she doesn't have no glow in her eyes doing it, like the joy is gone. It is kind of funny when you sit there and think about an assassin losing her joy for murdering people, right? Like, so there's something humorous with that too, right? So she wants out, so to speak, or she wants to she wants something that will give her joy, and she confronts Valentina about that. Like, give me something more. I need to be more, and that's what she's looking for. She's trying to find something in her life that would give her that joy that she's missing. And so Valentina is like, hey, you know what? You do one last job for me, and I will give you more. I'll make you the face of something, right? And little does she know that Valentina has also promised certain things to all these other agents of hers, which is Walker, Ghost, and Taskmaster. And they are all invited to go to this bunker to like do something there. I totally forget what it is, but it turns out that each one of these characters are sent to the bunker to kill one each other, and once they all die, then they're going to pretty much eviscerate any knowledge of whatever corporate entities or business or shady dealings that Valentina had that's in this bunker. All this information that's in that bunker is about to just get obliterated with fire. You know what I'm saying? And that goes along with these agents that know a lot about Valentina's dealings and doings, right? Um, I have to say at this point in time, it is a really good fight scene. It's in the trailer. I was genuinely surprised when Taskmaster died, and I knew she was going to die. Like we all knew this was going to happen. It's in the like we just knew Taskmaster's not making it, and I was genuinely surprised when she took a bullet to the head on camera. Like it was, and Ghost did it. And I was sitting there, I'm like, what movie am I watching here? I don't think I've seen anyone in the MCU just eat it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, this is a little bit of a different movie. This is a different MCU movie for sure. And I liked it. I actually liked it. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Um, and also, also, before I carry on here, how is Taskmaster even here? Because at the end of Black Widow, the movie, which I recently watched, so that's the only reason why I know this, because I'm working on a project, and Taskmaster dies in the explosion at the end of that space harrier or that giant like that big base in the sky. It explodes, and I'm almost certain Taskmaster dies in there. Like like we never see her again. So I was kind of curious as to like how did Taskmaster live, and how is she working with Valentina? Right? Like that doesn't make any sense. Um, and then we have like Ghost. I was also sitting there. I'm just like, we haven't seen Ghost since Wasp and Ant-Man 2, right? So I'm like, what have you been up to? And she kind of explains it in an off comment type of dialogue. And I was like, this doesn't make any like, well, how are you working for this person, right? I kind of wish we had something that shown these relationships happen in some regards, like something. I don't know. I just needed something. And because we already know that Yelena's working for Valentina at the end of Black Widow, and she's in Hawkeye too. Sorry, Hawkeye as well. And John Walker is also working for Valentina at the end of Winter Soldier Falcon, right? So we know those relationships, and yeah, it's just kind of weird why these characters are working for Valentina. So the interesting part of this movie is every one of these characters is going through something emotional, and they really don't. Their lives are not good. You know, they're not. All of them are not happy. All of them are downtrodden, and they're all just like just trying to make life work for them. You know what I'm saying? And these characters come together in this situation where they don't want to die, right? And so they have to work together begrudgingly, and they aren't friends. They don't like each other. And we also have the introduction of Bob in here. I would like to point out, which and Sentry, and they don't like Bob, right? Especially Walker. Walker and Bob do not get along. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't like each other. Specifically Walker more so than Bob. Bob is like a golden retriever, man. Like just nice. I actually like Bob. He's just like he's just this weird dude that's here. He doesn't even know why he's there. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so you have to watch these characters work together and work through their problems, both mentally and physically, to eventually become friends, so to speak, or family. And that's kind of the whole vibe in this movie, right? It's like all these characters are just lost and they're trying to find their way and find what makes them wake up every day, what will make them happy, right? And like you have like Bucky, he's become a governor, like he's trying to figure out what makes him happy. The Red Guardian is sitting around at his house. He's not happy. He misses his family. He misses his glory days of being in the Soviet Union and being like really loved by like the people of Russia at the time, and like being like famous and stuff like that. So he misses all of that limelight, and you really get to understand these characters, and you kind of like them. Like I really like these characters, like I said. And as the movie goes on, and you see them working with each other through these trials and tribulations of people trying to kill them, mostly Valentina's crew, because they're on the run and they know too much and they have to die. And they just work through their stuff, man, as a team. And eventually they kind of begrudgingly become friends, like they befriend each other, like they work together, but it's not work, like it's an interesting dynamic between these characters that we go along with for a good 2 hours. Now honestly, I wish this movie was like a tight hour 45. That would be great, but because there were some times where I'm like, yo, let's wrap this up, like let's go, let's move it along. But that's just me. Also, I watched this movie in 3D. I don't ask, don't ask. I screwed up. I thought I picked a regular screening, but somehow I picked tickets for 3D. I was just like, oh no. I forgot to get my glasses too, and the thing came up on the screen saying, put your glasses on. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, shoot, I have to go get my glasses. Well, I screwed up. Anyways, it was my own screw up. Um, yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so there's really good scenes with these characters that make you genuinely like them. And like also them coming together and becoming heroes. Because like I said, these characters are losers. No one sees them as heroes. They see them more as like something disposable. No one's gonna like you. So if you were to die on these missions, no one's gonna miss you. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? But we see them actually grow as a family and as heroes, especially after they fight Sentry. Um, because there's a whole arc between Bob and Sentry and Valentina, and it kind of reminds me of The Boys if you watch that series with Vought and Homelander, and you could definitely see that they definitely like grabbed a couple ideas off of the Boys for sure. But the downside is I kind of wish we knew more about Sentry. Now I haven't really read any comic books about the Sentry, and I kind of want to, so I don't know how comic book accurate Sentry is in this movie. And the Sentry that I know of, because I don't know him that well, is because I remember when they introduced Sentry. He was Marvel's Superman, and like he was going to be Superman, and one of the most powerful dudes in the Marvel books, right? And I remember that, and I was like, "Oh, damn! Marvel's going to give their own Superman now. That's wild." But I never read his books because there's only one Superman for me. You know what I'm saying? So there's this. I kind of wish we knew more about Sentry and how he came to be because they explain it. They do talk about it here and there, but they don't really go into a lot of details about the corporation that Valentina runs, the experiments that she runs. What is this experiment? What is this super soldier serum that she's working on? Because it's a corporation iteration of the super serum and not what the government's been working on, like the Soviet version or the American version. So there's a lot going on there, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting. I would like to know a little bit more about that. And I also would like to know more about like how is Bob able to be the void as well? Like what makes him enter this dark state? You know what I'm saying? Like so there's a little bit more I'd like to know about the character. But the fight that they had between the Thunderbolts and Bob or Sentry at that time was genuinely good because Sentry is a bad dude. You do not want to mess with the guy. No one on the team could dent him. He's undentable. And like you would think like some of the super soldiers could do something. No, they can't. There's nothing they could do against them. Even Ghost phasing in and phasing out, Sentry handled it. Like it was nice. It kind of reminded me a little bit of when the Justice League fought Superman. I'm just saying it had some ideas there. But I genuinely was like, this is freaking cool because again, I love Superman characters, and seeing this dude being that powerful and just obliterate this team was awesome. It was just awesome. And you're kind of sitting there going, how are they going to beat this guy? Right? Like it's a genuine question where you're like, how is this going to happen? Right? So we then get introduced to the Void, and I thought the Void was pretty cool, man. I remember seeing that in the trailers, and I thought that was really cool. How he's just blipping darkness off of people. Like there's a scene, so like there's a great scene in this movie. Great scene. I loved it. It was probably my favorite scene in the movie. Um, so the Void is a loose now. Sentry transforms into the Void. And takes over complete control. So when the Void takes over, Sentry's gone, Bob is gone. It's over for you. Like this is ultimate darkness. Nothing can beat this thing. Suppose. Well, he does get beat, but he's starting to blip people, and he blips a helicopter. The helicopter crashes into a crane. The crane crashes into the building, and now there's debris falling down. And this is a call to arms moment for these Thunderbolts, right? Where you going to become a hero now? Are you going to nut up and shut up and become a hero? And they do. They start actually saving the civilians that are going to get killed by this falling debris. And it's a very big turning point for most of these characters, specifically Walker and Red Guardian, right? Red Guardian saves a little girl. There's this big boulder debris falling down from the sky, and it crashes on him. And for a second, I was like, "Oh, damn! Is Guardian dead?" Right? Like, because it's a lot, and I'm like, "How strong is the Guardian?" So it just crushes over him, but he saves the little girl. And then all of a sudden, the void blips her, and I was sitting there, and was like, "Oh my god, what MCU movie is this? It just killed off a child. Like it was awesome." Because I wasn't expecting it, but it happened, and I was like, I think I was the only one that gasped. I was like, "Oh my god, what's going on here?" Yeah. So, but it was a really good moment. It really was. And they even saved some more humans. Like they all come together to move a giant slab off a person. Like there's a lot of team building in this moment of chaos, which really galvanizes them as family and a team and their friends more so than ever before. And now Yelena sacrifices herself to go into the void to confront the void slash Bob. And it's a really good sequence of events that happens inside. I'm going to call it the void for lack of a better word. I don't know what that world is when you go inside there, but she confronts Bob, and they go through a lot of emotions. And I can see where people are like, "This is dumb. I want a good old fashioned swinging punches and killing people kind of thing." But they've already established they can't destroy the Void or Sentry at all. Nothing they have in their arsenal can do it. So they got to go into the brain. They got to shut it down from the inside. And I thought it was a good sequence of events because Yelena sacrifices herself that goes in there, and then eventually the rest of the Thunderbolts come in and sacrifice themselves too. They're like, we're all here for each other, and this is another good moment of the Thunderbolts coming together, becoming a team to take down the void from within. And they do, and they also help Bob, and it's just a good scene. I just thought it was a good scene. I was like, this is great, great work. And then they save everybody. Good. That's what I want. Happy ending. Happily ever after ending. And then they go after Valentina because they're like, we're going to take that chick down for everything that she's done to us. And Valentina, as crafty as always, she's always 7 steps ahead, turns it on them. Somehow she has a media press event outside ready for them. Don't ask me how that happened, because everyone was blipped away in New York City, but somehow Valentina and the press were there right away. But you know what? Let's be silly and just go, okay, it's doable, but whatever. She flips it around and he's like, here's my heroes. These are the saviors of New York City, and like they're all caught off guard by it. It's a good scene. I liked it, even though it's very implausible. Like, how the hell did you do that, Valentina? How good are you in the void? She had to have been blipped away too. But yeah, so and that's the end of the movie, right? Like, and they're like, okay, this is the new Avengers. And I kind of wish they didn't call them the New Avengers. I like the idea of them being the Dark Avengers, but maybe that's what they'll become in after Doomsday or whatever that's coming up in the next couple of years. Maybe they'll become the Dark Avengers that are doing all these different things. That'd be cool. But where we're at right now with everything, and I would say also stay for the end, the credit sequences and all that stuff, because they do tell you what's coming. And I'm not going to mention it. I don't want to spoil that for you, but it makes me excited for things to come. That's where I will leave that. I'm excited for July, my friends. Let's see. Anyways, on that note, as I said, I genuinely like this movie. I think it's a pretty solid film. And if I recall, I have to look back at where I ranked all the movies for the MCU. But right now, I think this movie will take over the sixth slot for the MCU ranking. That's where Eternals was. But I have to think about it a little bit more. I might move it up. It might go above Multiverse of Madness. It might be a fifth slot to a sixth slot type of film. I'll have to think about it again. And yes, I genuinely will rewatch this movie when it comes out on Disney Plus. And I do think you should go and see this movie as well. Go see it on a cheap night, especially if you're an MCU fan and you're like, dying for some good MCU movie content, I think this one is definitely worth your time to check out. And it's way better than Captain America 4. Like, way better. Trust me on that one. I can't even believe I'm saying that. It's way better. Okay. Anyways, that's all I got to say about that, my friends. I am out of here. I hope you're enjoying the weekend and relaxing. If you're working, don't work too hard. And for everybody else, I hope you're enjoying whatever movie you're watching. I hope you're enjoying it. Peace out, everybody. Bye.